Hi, I'm Amber and I've moved from the UK to the US aged 28 with my husband Josh and our little boy Rory. I'm on a mission to explore the American culture and all of the differences from our old life in the UK. So join me as I travel around the States, seeing the sights, eating the food and meeting the people, with some very special tour guides along the way. And to say thank you to the country that's welcomed my family, I'll be collecting lots of mementos and raising funds for some wonderful American charities. So be sure to hit subscribe and follow me on Instagram and TikTok as I discover the land of opportunity.
Good morning, guys. Guess where I am? Okay, no prizes for guessing. I'm in Times Square, New York. I can hardly see. It's so bright, but I'm not going to complain because I have heard that for the past few weeks it's been pretty grey here, and I definitely need that sunshine to take the edge off of the cold weather because Florida winter has spoiled me. I don't know how I survived in England all these years because I am freezing. Okay, spoiler alert, I have been here, I don't know how many times, somewhere between 5 and 10 times before, New York City, and I've never really liked it, but I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I think there are reasons why I've never liked it, which I'll tell you. I've only ever been in the summer and literal heat wave summer, so it's always been red hot, sweaty, hard work walking around. Anybody that's been to New York City knows that you're basically going to spend all day and all night, whatever you're doing, walking around. And so when it's like 100 degrees, it's not a fun game at all. I've also always been for like a day trip or even like less than a day, like half a day. So I feel like I've never really gotten really into New York. And I've often come with people that had never been before. So everybody just wants to go to Times Square or like the super famous spots, and I don't think that is truly New York. I've always found Times Square to be like quite dirty. There's lots of people wanting money from you. You don't necessarily feel like your bags are that safe. It's cool to see, but literally see, take a picture and leave, which is exactly what I'm going to do. But it just felt like the right place to start today's episode, which is, by the way, I don't think I've even told you, today's episode is, I don't even know what to call it, being a blatant tourist in Manhattan. So I'm staying in Manhattan and I'm going to film this across 3 days, but it's probably a 2-day itinerary. I've just got other stuff going on. And across those couple days, I'm going to see as many of the very, very popular tourist spots that you guys commented on in one of my earlier posts. So I put out a post saying that I was going to New York and I had hundreds and hundreds of comments, and I picked out the ones that came up the most often, but also the ones that aren't too time consuming so that I can fit in as many as possible in the short time that I'm here. I will just give you a few quick spots though. By a few quick spots, I mean the obvious one that people have told me about, that sign there ahead of me where it says tickets, TKTS, that's where you can get your last minute Broadway tickets that are often a really good price. Now I have had a look before I started filming and there's nothing that I'm really like dying to see, but it is a good place. It's definitely a good amount of money off, so if Broadway is something that you kind of want to do but you're not precious about what show you're going to go see, then it's a good place to go and see if you can get some cheap tickets, because otherwise it can be really expensive. Josh would kill me if I didn't point out Pele Soccer, the world's greatest soccer store. Is actually not that great, but he always has to go whenever we come here. There's also a massive Forever 21 here, which I often frequent. The Disney store, there's a McDonald's back there somewhere, or there was, I don't know. Can't even see it actually. Normally there's a McDonald's back there, maybe it's disappeared. And there's just generally lots of the kind of touristy shops, merchandise tops. If you're going to get an I Heart New York hoodie, then yeah, it's a good place to get them. They're going to be more expensive here than anywhere else, but it's kind of cool to say you got one in Times Square. And then obviously all of the billboards. I mean, can you actually imagine having your face on one of those? Like, that would absolutely blow my mind. They are huge. I'm going to come back here at night as well, just to give you like the difference at night, because it is really cool at night, although it definitely feels even more dangerous than it does in the daytime. But yeah, it's a cool vibe. Had to start in Times Square, but let's move on because this is not where I want to stay. Okay, time for a food stop. Here I am at Magnolia Bakery. This came up so many times when I asked for recommendations, probably because of Sex and the City. Not even mad about it because I also love that show, but I am absolutely starving, so I'm gonna go and hopefully get something savory to eat as well as one of their famous cupcakes. Okay, definitely misunderstood the assignment here. It is just cakes, but I'm not mad about it because the cakes look insane. Did you see that? So I chose a chocolate cupcake because I haven't even had any breakfast today and I felt like a full slice of cake was like too far. But I chose a chocolate cupcake and we're going to try it, see what it's like. I learnt this trick from Anne Hathaway. Prepare to be amazed. That icing is insane. If I'm going to be brutally honest, the cake's a little bit dry, but the icing makes up for it. It's so good. Okay, this is going to fuel me up for some more walking. Now approaching Grand Central Station. I'm going to flip you around because the outside of the building and the concourse on the way in is just as beautiful as the main room that you've probably seen on TV. So let's have a look. Okay, so when you go in, this is the first thing that you see. Heading down to the main concourse, which is the room that has like the blue ceiling and the big gold clock in the middle that you are going to definitely recognise. There's also a lot of different food options in here, which I was surprised at the first time I came. They have like a full dining experience. It's like full-size Shake Shack and all sorts in here. It's really cool. It's always busy in here whenever I've been. You ready for this ceiling? How flippin' beautiful is that? And also, Madagascar fans will recognise this clock in the middle here because I'm pretty sure at some point in the movie this is the clock that ends up on Melman the giraffe's head as he's skidding around with those toilet block things on his feet, running into drums. So this is just fully iconic. And of course, the famous balcony. Gossip Girl fans. Serena van der Woodsen spotted at Grand Central Station. Up there. My favourite scene that ever happened in Grand Central Station was from Friends with Benefits, I think that's what it's called. The one with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. When they do the... he does the flash dance here at the end of the movie, and then that Semisonic song comes on, which is just a brilliant song anyway. And it's like, closing time. And she's coming down the steps of the balcony. She's like, oh, he actually loves me. Yeah. So, I'm not going to lie, I could do with like a Mila Kunis to pop out about now and like show me all of the non-tourist hotspots of Manhattan that's going to totally sell me on the city. And if Justin Timberlake was here, then I would totally not mind if he wanted to be Friends with Benefits. Wait, I'm going to ask Josh if that's acceptable. Please hold. Yeah, that was a straight no from Josh. He says I only have one hall pass and I've already assigned it to David Beckham. Honestly, I think that's unreasonable. I should be able to add Justin Timberlake to my hall pass. Okay, so since I've just come out of a train station, it seems like an appropriate time to talk about getting around New York City. And I have a confession to make. I have never used the subway. And not because I'm scared, but because I've never needed to yet. I think I will over the next couple of days. I think I will use it, and I'll let you know how it goes as a first timer. But I've never needed to use it because actually, forever trying to not get run over, I have walked everywhere. Yes, Manhattan is big. There are lots of little different areas of Manhattan. But if you're here to do the tourist stuff, you will find that a lot of the like major tourist locations are clustered together. So you might need to get from one section to another section, but then you can often tick off so many things on your itinerary on foot in a short space of time. So that would be my recommendation. Otherwise, if you are trying to get across town for some reason, if you're going from one kind of cluster of tourist items to another, Ubers and taxis are going to be expensive, so you probably are going to want to learn how to use the subway, which I'll maybe be brave enough to do in real time. I'm not sure if I am brave enough to do in real time. You know, I know London Underground so well, do that with my eyes closed, but I feel like the system here, in terms of like direction and numbers and stuff, is completely different. So I'm a little bit nervous that that's going to be too big of a culture shock, but we'll see. Anyway, as I say, I'm walking, so I'll see you at the next stop. I'm now coming into Rockefeller Center, and actually this is not somewhere I've ever been before, so don't know what to expect. Obviously, I know this is where there is a rather large Christmas tree at the right time of year, which is not now, but let's have a look. I'll turn you around. Ooh, nice. Okay, lots of nice stores, music, which is kind of weird. The iconic building that you can go to the top of. Tiffany's, if you're feeling like splurging. I don't know if you can hear me over the music, but we'll try. Here is the ice rink. It must be too early for it to be on right now, but what a cool spot to have a little skate. Bit more of a close-up of the statue there. Oh, that's like something that you need to do in the winter. I was about to say at Christmas, but I get the feeling it would be absolutely heaving at Christmas and probably not the most fun place to be. Kate Spade out here really milking the New York spot with the taxi pumps. Oh, and I didn't even see the pizza handbag that's got salt and pepper on it. And the apple. I feel like that's been done. That's so funny. Taxi! Perfect timing. Just as I was going to leave, one of the staff has come out for a little skate. How cool! Oh, I'm jealous actually. Not that I can ice skate to save my life, but... Okay, now literally 10 steps from the Rockefeller Center is St. Patrick's Cathedral, so kind of feels like it would be rude not to at least have a little nosy. I don't know if you can go inside or not, but we're going to go and find out. When I say 10 steps, I wasn't joking. That's the cathedral, and that's Rockefeller Center where I just was. So, I mean, if you're going to go to one, go to both. Looks like we can go in. The doors are wide open. Don't know if I'll be allowed to film or not, but there's only one way to find out. I always feel like I have to whisper. It makes me laugh that they have like Apple Pay in churches these days. Modern times, but what a stunning building. I mean, coming from the UK, I've seen my fair share of cathedrals, but you know, this is just as beautiful as they all are. Worth a little trip inside. And what shocks me and continues to shock me about religious places in America is it's really warm in here. In the UK, it's a running joke that you have to take your thermals to go to church, even in the middle of the summer. It's freezing. You can go all the way to the back of the cathedral, and there's even a little place back there where there's no photography, no filming, and obviously I know that I'm here to document around New York, but I completely respect and appreciate places like that, even like especially in places of worship. I think it's really important. So that was a really nice quiet spot if you wanted a little time out from the busyness of the city. To echo what I said earlier, I'm literally walking between planned tourist stops, and I've walked next to the New York Public Library, which was another place that a few people had mentioned to me that I hadn't looked up, had no idea that I was going to walk past, but since I am walking past it, I'm going to go in. Here's the building from the outside. So yeah, it really is important to keep your eyes peeled, because you can end up seeing a lot more than you even planned to without planning to. And what a treat it is that I got to come in here. There was like a little short security bag check, but nothing major. See if I can get into a couple of the other rooms. I feel like I'm in a free museum. Like I'm actually didn't do any research into this place because I didn't think that I was going to be able to fit it in. But since it was en route, as I say, I've just popped in, and
honestly, it's stunning. And completely free. Okay, that room was absolutely stunning. Proper, like, oldie worldy library like you get in Oxford and Cambridge in the UK. But she was not happy with me filming, so I only got that very short clip. It was a quiet room, so I wasn't talking at all, but she said, yeah, no filming. It's used just for quiet study, so you can go there and do your work in beautiful surroundings. Amazing. There's a nice little shop and cafe in here too, if you wanted to stop and have a little drink and spend a little bit of money. Although no people watching, so I'm basing all of my food decisions on where I can get good people watching spots. Okay, very much needed food stop. I can barely contain my excitement. I've wanted to come to this food stop for a very, very long time. I wonder if you can guess where it is. It was mentioned in my post quite a few times when I was asking for places to go. It's somewhere that I'm going to get pastrami on rye. It was, for me anyway, it was made famous in a movie called, this is going to give it away, When Harry Met Sally. And there's a scene where they have an argument and then they end up going to this little delicatessen and she like has a fake orgasm and it's hilarious. I'm not going to do that, by the way. It is indeed Katz Deli. I'll get a view of the front as well. But I'm very excited to be here because, as I said at the beginning of this episode, whenever I've been to New York, it's kind of been for a short period of time. And contrary to what I was saying about a lot of tourist hotspots being clustered together, Katz Deli does feel like it's a little bit out on its own. It has been a special effort to get here. I'm sure it's going to pay off. I'm really excited to try pastrami on rye in New York from the supposed best anyway. So let me show you the outside and we're going to go ahead and go in. Here it is from street side, Katz Deli. They have like some of the cured meats hanging up in the back there, which is really cool. Oh, that's so good. Without doubt, the coolest place I've ever been. You walk in, you get given a little ticket, literally as soon as you come through the door, and then they tell you which cutters are available. I got a little bit of footage, I'll make sure I got some good spots, but basically you just go to like an assigned cutter, you tell them what you want. I was like, I want pastrami on rye, however it's supposed to come here, and they make your sandwich. The guy was amazing. He gave me a little bit of pastrami to try. It's delicious, it's warm, and you get some pickles and cucumber with it. There's some stuff on the table, I have no idea what it is. And this is like a proper diner, super cool, amazing place. And they have a sign hanging down that says, when Harry Met Sally sat here, order. Hope you're having what she's having. So I'll try and get a clip of that on the way out. But let's taste this sandwich. How anyone is supposed to get their mouth around that, I have no idea. Oh my God, that's good. That is so fresh. So tasty. And I'm going to have to love you and leave you well starved. Eat as much of this as I can. See you on the other side. I don't know how well you'll hear me because my microphone's run out of battery again, but I just needed to finish up that little segment by saying that is hands down the best sandwich I've ever had in the coolest place I've ever eaten, and I already want to go back, except I have absolutely no space for any more food. So cool. Would strongly recommend making the effort to come a little bit out of the tourist path to go there and enjoy. And it's expensive, but still enjoy. Okay guys, I'm at the World Trade Center. It's very bright again. I've actually been here a bunch of times before, and it's probably my number one recommendation if you're coming to New York, because obvious reasons. The history here is just, I mean, it's incredible. It's really something that you have to see with your own eyes to believe. The World Trade Center is behind me. Hopefully you can see that, which is one World Trade Center, but the 9/11 Museum and the pools where the Twin Towers used to be are just to my left, about 200 yards to my left. And I've been here a bunch of times before, as I say, and I always find it quite emotional, and it's kind of a really quiet space for reflection, so I don't really feel comfortable narrating this. So I'm just going to get a very short piece of film, and this section of my video is going to be silent just as I wander around and take in the vast size of these pools, which you can only really get your head around. You can't get your head around, but you can only really begin to get your head around by seeing them in real life. Footage just doesn't do it justice. So I'm going to head over to the pools now in quiet, and then after I've had a few minutes of reflection, I will come and find a seat out of the way and have another little chat to you. Okay, I've stepped away from the pools now, and I mean, I'm shivering because it's cold, but also I've been here, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and I can never ever comprehend what it must have been like that day. It is just such a vast amount of space and a vast amount of names. It really, yeah, it's a very overwhelming place to be, but a very beautiful place to be as well. And the way that they've done the memorials, I just think it's one of the best. I don't even want to call it a tourist spot, but it is. There's all kinds of accents here and people coming from all over the world to see it, and rightly so, hopefully raising some money. You saw the Never Forget Fund there too. But it is just one of the most breathtaking things that I've ever seen in the world, and I've done a fair amount of travelling. Every time I come, it takes my breath away, and I have done the museum as well twice, and it's something that you really, really should do. And obviously it's very sombre, and there's lots of, shocking footage in there and shocking wreckage pulled from the buildings that's in there, and so it's not a very pleasant experience, but I just feel like it's something that everybody should do if you have the chance. So definitely put this at the top of your list. And the other thing that I showed you there, the little flowers, they put a flower in the name on the birthday of the deceased. And this is going to sound really stupid, but you know how you never meet anybody who has the same birthday as you? But when you come here, there's always several flowers any day that you come.
And I don't know why that's something that just kind of puts it into perspective how many people died here, because there's so many birthdays on the same day. You can guarantee that you're going to see several flowers in people's names no matter what day of the year that you come, and yet you can go your whole life with never meeting anybody that has the same birthday as you. It's just an amazing place, somewhere that everybody should definitely visit. Spend some time, have a moment of reflection, think about really what happened here and pay your respects. So, thinking of Angeline Carter today on what would be her birthday. Oh, okay. Moving on. Guys, I've found an absolutely amazing spot. I'm just on my way to Wall Street and it's absolutely freezing outside. The wind is bitter. And I just saw this sign for an indoor market. It's called 64 Market Street. It's very close to Wall Street. And they have a bit of everything. So I'm going to stop and have a nice hot bowl of soup to warm me up and check out these prices. How cheap is that? They also have pre-prepared sandwiches. There's like a tossed salad bar over there. They have a sushi bar, and all the sushi actually looks pretty fresh, to be fair. Very cool. And then they do have like some cakes and pastries and things at the front too, which is super nice. So I might even treat myself to a cookie and a cake afterwards, but for now I can't feel my fingers, so I'm just going to grab a soup, put some more charge in my phone and head back out. Wow, I really needed that hot soup. It's warmed me right up, thankfully. I don't know how long that's going to last because it's pretty nippy out here. I think it's about 32 degrees in Fahrenheit. Don't really know what that means in Celsius, but here we are. But anyway, not that far. Well, the Twin Towers were just on the edge of the financial district. One of the most famous places, I think, of the financial district is the New York Stock Exchange. So it's about a 10-minute walk from the 9/11 Museum and the memorial. And actually, again, you could definitely walk right past it. Let me show you. So the flag that's outside changes quite often, and it's usually big named brands that have their flag put outside on the 4th of July. It's like a massive American flag. Sadly, as you can see by this fence, which is like way away from the front of the building there, since 9/11, nobody's been allowed inside, which is a shame because it used to be somewhere that you could go inside as a tourist and see that, you know, trading floor that everybody can picture. There is still a trading floor. It's still exactly the same inside, and there's about 500 to 1,000 people that work in there, so I understand. Ah, there she is. I was also looking for this little girl here. They call her Fearless Woman. Don't think that's her scrunchie. Yeah, they call her Fearless Woman, and she's like a show of feminism. And I love that she's looking right at the New York Stock Exchange, which you probably associate with men. So I love that. Also close to here, but somewhere that I'm not going, is the Trinity Church, which is also home to Alexander Hamilton's graveyard. Not really big into Hamilton, the person or the musical, so it's not somewhere that I've decided to stop. But where I am going to go now is back onto Wall Street, which is just one street down from here, and I'm going to go see the Wall Street Bull. Oh, one other thing I should say about the stock exchange, although you can't go inside unless you work there, obviously, if you're here at like opening or closing time, you might be able to hear them ringing the famous bell. So in the morning, I can't remember if it's 9 or 9:30, fact check me on that. They will ring the bell for 10 seconds to open the stock exchange, and then at 4 p.m. they will ring the bell for 15 seconds to close the stock exchange. And I've never been here at that time, but apparently you might be able to hear it from outside. So I don't know. If you were, I wouldn't make a special trip, but if you were here around that time, it might be worth seeing if you can hear it. I can't imagine that all these traders finish work at that time, though. I just imagine that that's one of all of the industries in America where they're working all the hours under the sun, but maybe I'm wrong. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any suited men to ask that question because they probably are all busy at work right now until 4 o'clock. Let's go and see the Wall Street Bull, and I'll tell you about that. Funny story, I'm literally around the corner from the bull right now, so I'm going to try and cross the road as I'm telling you this. I just squatted down to change my microphone because this one is almost out of battery, and a man came over and tried to give me some money. I don't know whether to be flattered or offended. He said, "Oh, I was going to give to you. I thought you were in need." Did that really just happen? Anyway, I'm at now the Wall Street Bull. There ain't no heckin' way that I'm standing in this line. But apparently, I'm going to spin around and show you. Apparently, you're supposed to rub its balls for good luck. I'm just going to go and stare at its balls for a second. Because look at this line of people waiting to rub its balls. I'm sorry. Just not that lucky. But yeah. Here they are, big gold balls. I'll try and show you the front of him too. There is, it's actually really funny. There is a line of people waiting to have a picture with its head. Not even half the size of the line of people that's waiting to have a picture with his balls, which is really funny. But anyway, here's his face. I'll go around the other side, you can see it better. And this is on actual Wall Street. It's quite funny, the New York Stock Exchange building is not on Wall Street, it's the street adjacent. And I've been to Wall Street, as I say, several times before, and I've always found it a little bit underwhelming. I don't know why. Oh, she's up on the horns. Get it, girl. That's going to be in the family album forevermore. Great photo. There's his little face. The Wall Street Bull. Yeah, as I was saying, I've always found it, I don't know why, but a little bit underwhelming because, like, you can't go in the stock exchange and the trading floor would be something that's really cool to see. There's a massive line to get a picture with the bull's balls, that's a mouthful. I'm sure they are a mouthful. And then otherwise, the buildings just kind of look like everywhere else. I don't know what I expected, but other than the fact that this is right near to 9/11, which is an absolute must-see, I probably wouldn't make a special visit to the financial district if I'm being completely honest. That said, it is definitely like a nicer, cleaner vibe than Upper Manhattan. So I'm in Lower Manhattan now, and yeah, it's much cleaner, much less crowded, unless you want to rub the ball. But yeah, in my opinion, not worth a special trip. But if you've got a little bit of extra time after you've done 9/11, then you may as well just go and snap a couple pics and carry on with your day. Okay, so if you are going to do the financial district, something again that you may as well do whilst you're here because it's so close is the Staten Island Ferry. That is the ferry, the free ferry that goes from 4 South Street, which is like a 5-minute walk from the Wall Street Bull, maybe 10 minutes if you walk slowly, and it takes you across the Staten Island. No surprise. So it's really simple to get, and I'm going to show you on the way in now, but my microphone is about to die. So I'm going to just film this and voice over, and then there'll be some clips of the Statue of Liberty and all the other cool things that you see on the trip. Okay?
Literally can't miss this place. I mean, talk about standout signage. Anyway, it's really easy to do. As I said, you just go in through the door, and there's another sign right in front of you that says Staten Island Ferry. So you head up on the escalator, and then when you get to the top, there are a couple of places you can grab a refreshment if you want one, and then kind of just this big waiting area with, I think there was 4 doors where the ferries can possibly be. There's also plenty of information about timings, but as a general rule, the ferries run every 15 minutes both ways at rush hour, and every 30 minutes when it's not rush hour the rest of the day. But there's times here, and there's also times on an electronic board, and you just kind of wait it out. I did do a short TikTok, as well on this journey where I do a little bit more of like getting on the ferry and stuff like that, but it's literally impossible to get it wrong. And when you're at the terminal, you can also get a little look at the Statue of Liberty from there, but it's much better, as you can see here, when you're on the ferry. I did use a pretty heavy zoom on this. It's definitely not that close, but you can get a good view unobstructed. It's very beautiful. The boats themselves are pretty old, but it's free, so what do you expect? And you get some really cool views. And actually out the left side of the boat as you go out, or the right side as you come in, you get a really cool angle on a helipad. And both times I've taken the ferry, there's always been helicopters going up and down, which you can probably just about see in the middle of the image there. And I love to watch that. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a helicopter geek, but it's really easy to do. Would recommend. Takes about an hour if you're just going end to end, or you can get off at Staten Island and explore. It's up to you.
And here I am at another very famous tourist attraction, Brooklyn Bridge. So I have been on Brooklyn Bridge for pictures before, but I've never walked across and I've never been to Brooklyn. So stay tuned in on my YouTube, and I'm going to do another full episode, probably a short episode, just on Brooklyn, exploring it as a first timer. But it would be rude not to just insert a few little clips in this mega Manhattan tourist video whilst I'm on the Manhattan side of the bridge. And I guess my top tips for Brooklyn Bridge. Even if you're not going all the way across, it's a lot of walking. So I don't know, you can't see here because obviously I'm kind of on an upward incline, but it's taken me probably a solid 5-10 minutes to walk as far as here. Like, I'm not even under the arches yet. So be prepared. It's between Park Row and Center Street is the access point. It's really easy to miss because obviously the arches are a long way back. There's lots of buildings. It's in a built-up area. So it's really easy to miss the actual entrance points. Keep your eyes peeled. And if you are going to come here from Manhattan side, I would also recommend walking around that area before you actually go onto the bridge, because there's some really cool buildings there, like City Hall, some like courthouse buildings, municipal buildings, and it kind of gives like a Roman, like Parisian type feel. There's lots of stone pillars, some really cool places along there. So it is worth a little wander around that actual area. There's a nice green park too before you even get onto the walkway. You can probably see this walkway behind me now is wooden, which is what you're used to. But as I say, there's a good 5 minutes of just road type pavement before it turns wooden. So be prepared to walk if you want to get those shots. And it is also very noisy because obviously this is a roadway bridge as well. So I'm having to shout even into the microphone to be able to hear what's going on. There's a helicopter behind me. I've been told that Biden's coming into town today, and he might be landing on the Wall Street helipad, and this is pretty close to Wall Street, pretty close to the financial district. You can see there behind me the building with the tall spike. That's the World Trade Center where I was earlier today. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of where I am. And the other thing to mention, as you're heading up and over the bridge, make sure you keep looking behind you, because the skyline on both sides is really stunning. So make sure you get pictures with the bridge, of the bridge, but also the Manhattan skyline, because I mean, look at that. When I do my full YouTube episode across Brooklyn Bridge and in Brooklyn, I'll share some more fun facts about the bridge and things to do if you do go over the other side, whether that's by foot or by car or subway, if you're brave enough.
Guys, I've been brave and I've got the subway on my own. I'm practicing what I preached. And here I am on the subway. I have got about 30 minutes in my schedule, so I'm trying to get to the Hudson's Yard area to walk a little bit of the High Line. Let's see if we make it there successfully. But getting the subway wasn't as scary as I thought. I looked it up, and the Hudson's Yard is at the end of the number 7 line. So I just found a station near me that had the number 7 line on it and got on the train that said Hudson's Yard. So I hope I got everything right. I just tapped in with my contactless payment card. Didn't need to buy a ticket or anything like that, and obviously I'll tap out with the same thing. So in that sense, very similar to the Underground, but yeah, they're all like letters and numbers and stuff for the train, so it would take me a while to get my head around that. But getting just the one, just to say that I've done it, I think I'm doing okay. We shall see. I'll let you know if I get off. If you see me at the High Line after this, then you'll know it was successful.
Don't panic, don't panic. I was successful on the subway. I got off. I had to get off earlier because my phone was going to die. I have some other reservations to go to, and I needed to come back to the hotel and charge my phone before I went out. So I got off earlier than Hudson's Yard, went back to my hotel, charged my phone, and now I'm out again. It does mean that I haven't had time to go to the High Line, And I actually thought I better mention a number of places that I haven't had time to go that honestly would probably be the top of my list next time I come to New York, because they sound appealing to me and because they were very highly recommended on the video on TikTok where I asked people what I should do in New York. So I've had to prioritize, but the High Line would probably be the top of my list next time. The concept of there being like an above ground park, nothing I've ever experienced before. So yeah, I'd really love to do that. Also, obviously haven't had time to do any of the museums, so I feel like I could do a full day just going around the museums when I come again. I've gone for quantity this time. Some may say quantity over quality in terms of locations, but I think next time I could definitely slow down the pace and take in some more of the arts and culture of the city, or of Manhattan anyway. I'd also love to spend more time shopping in Soho. I'd want to do some of the by appointment only vintage shops and see if I can bag myself some kind of designer bag. Josh probably wouldn't approve of that one. And things like the Vessel, Chelsea Market came up quite a lot, which to be fair, a lot of those, aside from the museums, a lot of those things are in a similar place. So I feel like I could maybe next time have a hotel in that area and knock off quite a lot of places that were well recommended. Okay, it's time to go up the Empire State Building, and I'm going up here at night because I've done it in the day and I thought it was a bit of a letdown. I mean, it's an iconic bucket list thing and you do kind of just have to do it, but it's expensive. There are 2 viewing platforms here, but just to go up one of them, the main one that you kind of see in the pictures that's outside, is $53.75 for an adult, which is a lot of money. I have previously been up some other viewing platforms in the daytime, and my favourite has been the Summit One Vanderbilt, which is right next door to Grand Central Station, so it's again in a great location if you're ticking off touristy stuff. And there's lots of different levels to it. There's like things going on, there's different photo spots and stuff like that, so you're kind of up there for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. With the Empire State Building, when I went up before, again I just did the one viewing platform. I went up, took some pictures, had a look, came down, probably 15 minutes all told, which feels like a lot, which doesn't feel like a lot for the amount of money that it costs. If you wanted to do the second viewing platform, which is on the 102nd floor, the main one's on the 86th floor, I have no idea what that's like because I've never done it. It looks like it's inside, maybe with glass floor to ceiling, but obviously it's the same view, just another 15 stories higher, and it pretty much doubles the price. It's like an additional $40, so there ain't no way they're getting that money out of me, not a chance in hell. But I'm going to give it a chance at night because I kind of wanted to do a viewing platform at night, and the Empire State Building is literally right behind the hotel that I'm staying in, so we're going to go and see if it's worth $53.75 at night. Definitely isn't in the day, in my opinion. I'm entering from between West 33rd and West 34th Street. I think there are actually other entrances for the Empire State, but this is the one I'm taking. Turns out the entrance between 33rd and 34th Street is in fact an exit, not an entrance. So I'm now going up to 34th Street, West 34th, turning left, he said, and look for a sign that says Observatory. Oh, there's a sign here that says ESB Observatory, #1 attraction in the US. #1 attraction in the US. That is quite a statistic. This is definitely not the way I came in last time. It was like 7 years ago, but definitely not the way I came in. But anyway, when I eventually found the observatory entrance, you go in and go around. It's actually really quiet right now, so I'm kind of excited about that. Last time I came, it was super busy. And there is a little photo up there. I don't know if you can see the model of the Empire State. If you head up to the second floor, someone will take a picture for you. And then we go to the elevator. Some cool art. So I'm literally on the second floor now. I've gotten absolutely nowhere, but I guess this is for when it's really busy. It keeps you entertained. I don't remember any of this. I don't know if this is new since 2017, but still. So as you're heading towards the elevators, it's quite a long walk, and I imagine when this is busy, this is absolute hell. But they do try and keep you entertained. There's lots of like facts. Oh, Sleepers in Seattle, of course. There's lots of facts and things that you can read about. And some like immersive stuff and photo opportunities like this. I think they have a bunch of like movies and stuff that you can see too, for extra money obviously, but you can watch movies somewhere in here.
King Kong, iconic. If I had $1 for every time I've said iconic on this trip, by the way. King Kong's fingers. Some stuff about celebrities. Now you've got my attention. Spot someone you know. Oh, so many fun faces. Ronaldinho, what are you doing up there, mate? Kicking a ball off the top. Walking the footsteps of famouses. Now let's see if we're anywhere near an elevator, because I am about ready to get up top. Heading up to the 80th floor, and then you have to transfer. Oh!
Welcome to the world's most famous building.
Ah!
You get to see it built.
Forgot about that bit.
Some legs inside and keep your eyes open. See those hot rivets flying through the air? Nice catch, Lou! Get those plates.
As I was saying, that takes you to the 80th floor, and then you have to transfer to go to the 86th. But you do get a pretty cool view from here too. Ooh, he's giving me the wobbly legs a little bit. A little bit. This is way cooler at night though, straight away. How cool is that? I always think this part is really cool because this installment in the ceiling points in the direction of different attractions that you might want to look at from the viewing platform or the windows here. All of the little viewing things tell you what you can see through them, so you just have a look on that, and then you just have a look in there and see what it is, which I obviously can't catch on camera particularly well. Okay, I'm on the 86th floor. I've stepped outside. Thank goodness it's not at all windy. It's actually really quiet. They have heaters all the way around, which I'm very grateful for. And yeah, I can't get that close to the edge though because I'm slightly shitting my pants. Oh, it's somebody's birthday. Oh, that's sweet. Here I am. Absolutely shitting my pants. Okay, here's a lower fence, so maybe I can get a better view without having to get too close. Sorry guys, but there's no way I'm getting my phone that close to get rid of the railings. And there's no chance of me looking down either. Let's have a little walk around the edge. Let's go this way. Considering it wasn't very busy, it's plenty busy enough up here, by the way. Can't really get much of a look in. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get any pictures. One step closer. 2 steps closer, and that's about enough for me. I'm glad it's not windy. I will also say that this is way cooler at night. I'm kind of understanding why you might pay for the 102nd floor at night now, because it's floor-to-ceiling glass, so you don't obviously have the barriers in the way, like the fence barriers in the way. So that would be cool for the sake of pictures and, you know, the Instagram. But Summit One Vanderbilt, just saying, does have floor-to-ceiling glass for the same price, probably the same height, and it's kind of cool because you can look back at the Empire State Building, because I feel like actually the shape of the Empire State Building is something that everybody knows, so having a picture with that in the background is almost like cooler than having a picture from this looking at other buildings that aren't as well known. You can walk 360 around the building, and there's loads of the binocular things too. Oh my god, those heaters are actually really powerful. There's loads of the binocular things too, but yeah, no way that I'm going to put my eyes in them in case they're accidentally pointed at the floor, and I'll have to sit down and kiss the ground immediately. And that's a wrap, guys. I am going to head back down to the safety of the ground floor. Listen to a very funny conversation just then of some teenage boys that were looking through the looking glass and seeing whose window they could see through. So be warned, if you're in eye shot of the Empire State Building, you are being perved on. Let's go back down and carry on my tour. Whoa, mama, it's been a busy day. I am kind of peckish, not starving. As I said when I was in Times Square this morning, I couldn't get Broadway tickets for a show that I really wanted to see. Like, it would have been a waste of money for me because I'm not like a mad theatre buff. So it was kind of like the big name shows that I wanted to see, and they were all sold out. So I went back through the comments of my
post asking for places to go in New York, and along with obviously Broadway, people said you need to go. Well, start that again. Some people said you need to go to Ellen's Stardust Diner, and some people said do not go to Ellen's Stardust Diner. We're going to go there and get a small bite to eat, and it was like polar opposite opinions on my post. So I think it's only fair that I form my own opinions. So let's go. Here we are. It's just a couple blocks behind Times Square, and you could easily miss it, I won't lie. Here's the outside. Stardust Diner. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
I'm hoping that you can help to explain the concept of Stardust Diner for people that have never even heard of it.
Oh my gosh, it is a wacky place, first of all, but people love it and we love it. So basically the idea is that we're all singing servers, we all are performers, we're working actors, we've all worked in different things, TV, film, Broadway, off-Broadway, cruise ships, regional theaters, you name it, we've all done various things. And this basically is a place, it's like your survival job, if we call it as an actor in New York.
Yeah.
So basically, we only performers here, we sing for our tables and for our guests, and then once we book a show like TV, film, theater, that kind of thing, we head out to go do our show, and then once the contract ends, we're unemployed again, so we come back here, start waiting tables again while we're re-auditioning, and it's like a little cycle.
It's a vicious cycle though, right? You've got to be, really in for it. So I'm assuming the dream for you, Courtney, is Broadway?
The dream is Broadway.
Okay.
Here it is right there.
How long have you been here?
I've worked at Stardust for about 8 years now, so
Okay.
I keep coming and going with different contracts.
Okay, amazing. So what have you been in before?
I have been in, I think, 4 different off-Broadway shows, lots of cruise ships. I'm actually leaving in 2 days. I'm going to be playing Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. So
Oh, congratulations.
lots of different theater and different stuff like that.
I've heard good things of that one.
Yeah, I
That's
love
really
it.
cool. And if you could dream pick a role in a Broadway show, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, it would be really fun to do a brand new show that I get to originate a role.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be something that you get to create on your own and just make it your own. So
Yeah.
that would be nice.
I love that. That's a great answer. Thank you very much. Thanks
you.
for your time. Okay, well, that was fun. Really fun. I'm so pleased that they agreed to kind of say a few words as well. I feel like they'll do a lot better job of explaining the concept. So, thanks for that. But yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. It was so much fun. The vibe was amazing. Would definitely go back. And you just got to embrace it. Like, even if it's not your thing, just embrace it. I had a good sing-along. All of the songs that I knew, and I'm not like a theatre buff by any stretch of the imagination. So I was kind of a bit dubious that it wouldn't be stuff that I knew, but they sang the classics, and that's what everybody wants to hear. Hopefully that's what they enjoy to perform too. And they're just hustlers, and I appreciate anybody who is out there chasing down their dreams. Back to tonight. I have 2 more stops. My tour is going to finish at Times Square at night, but before I go there, I saw a lot of people on my post say that I needed to go to Junior's Cheesecake. Now, quite a few people had said Junior's Cheesecake in Brooklyn. I didn't realize why that was. Apparently it's the original Junior's Cheesecake in Brooklyn. However, I am planning to spend time in Brooklyn like early in the morning. Can't think that I'm going to want cheesecake, but don't want to miss out on this world famous cheesecake. So thankfully, just down the street from Ellen's and on the way to Times Square is a Junior's Cheesecake. So I'm going to get a to-go cheesecake to take back to my hotel room and pig on later. And I'll let you know another day how it was, because you don't need to see me in my pajamas eating cheesecake late at night. So let's go and pick some up. Oh my goodness. I wish I'd asked what I should choose, because if it was just me choosing, I would definitely go for cake over cheesecake. But I've been told I need to try the cheesecake, so I will do as I am told. But which one am I going to have? Oh my goodness. Too many choices. Wish me luck. Cheesecake secured. I was stuck between brownie explosion and raspberry swirl, but the waitress recommended the raspberry swirl because it's one of their baked cheesecakes, and it has that kind of like golden topping on that you don't get very often in the UK with cheesecake. So that's what I got, and she's given me a fork so I can eat it in my bedroom. And now we're gonna head to Times Square, wrap up for the day, and then I'm gonna go to bed and eat cheesecake and hopefully get an early night because I have another busy day of walking tomorrow. Iconic, absolutely iconic. Subway steam coming out over there, can you see that? It's been going all day, but it's kind of easier to see at night. And here we are, last stop of the day. Last stop of the Manhattan Super Tourist Day. Times Square at night. Now, you can probably tell it is so much busier than it was in the daytime. There are also a lot more of the cartoon characters trying to get your money, so look out for those. And it doesn't even feel like nighttime because it's so bright here. You see everything? It's kind of vibey at night, like you can't deny it. It's just one of those places that you've got to see and appreciate just once in your life. Oh look, someone's getting wished a happy anniversary. You see that? I wonder how much that costs. That's so cool. But yeah, that is the end of my Manhattan Madness Tourist Day. What was your favourite stop? Where did I miss that I should have gone? And also make sure that you're following on TikTok for all of the photos, and stay subscribed here because next week I'm going to be showing you around Brooklyn and Queens for anybody that's coming maybe for a little bit of a longer stay or wants to do something that's a bit less touristy and explore some more like local kind of people, boroughs of New York, get outside of Manhattan. I'm going to be doing Brooklyn and Queens next week, so that's going to be super cool. And I'm also going to be meeting the following week with a girl that's moved here for a year from Ireland, and she has the coolest story. She has so much to say, and yeah, really interesting. So make sure you're subscribed for all of that. And thanks for joining me today. I'm going to get back to my hotel, eat this big slab of cheesecake, and go to bed because New York is exhausting. It might be the city that never sleeps, but I need my sleep. See you all next week. Bye.